Hello artists! Today we are going to learn a skill that artists of all ages use. Professional artists use it, young artists use it, I use it, so many different kinds of artists use it, and it's called gesture drawing. So we're going to learn a little bit about that in a second, but one thing to keep in mind is that a gesture is kind of like an action. It's when somebody is doing something. So we're going to be exploring that today. Let's get into it.
First thing we're going to do to really get involved in the process of drawing is we are going to do something called gesture drawing. Now, gesture drawing is really fun because it lets us really think of drawing like an action. So to create a gesture drawing, we need to start off with somebody who's doing a gesture, and a gesture is like an action. So our first gesture that I'm going to show is a soccer player. So we are going to practice drawing this soccer player here. And here's my trick. My trick is to kind of draw a stick figure. And then I'm going to show you how to flesh it out and make it look like a gesture drawing. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at the action pose of my person that I'm drawing. So I'm going to start off with the head. And I always like to draw the head like an oval. And then I'm going to notice the line of the shoulders. Now I notice his arms are kind of tilted. So I'm going to draw his shoulders like this. So now I have my head oval and I have my line for the shoulders. And watch how I draw the arms. So I notice that from his shoulder here to his elbow, his arm is going like this. And it kind of bends here. It bends at the elbow. So I'm going to draw another stick right there to show his hand going up in the air. And his other arm is pointing down towards the ground. So I'm just really taking a close look and noticing where his arms are directed. Then I see his torso is like this, and his hips are here. They're kind of slanted. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit more slanted. And then I notice his legs are actually kicking the soccer ball. So I can go ahead and start to draw his thigh and where his knee is, and maybe even get to his foot. And the soccer ball will be here. And I have his other leg kicking backwards. Now I have my awesome stick figure here that I can start to turn into my gesture drawing. So in order to do that, I'm going to start to make ovals along all of these lines. And that is going to turn my stick into something that looks like a body. So going ahead and circling all of my arms here. I'm putting ovals all around it. Just like that to create my gesture drawing. And now I have the action of my stick figure kicking a soccer ball, and you can decide to include the soccer ball in it or not. It's up to you. So now I have my gesture drawing here, and that is my first one done. And now I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll draw my dancer next. So I am going to start off with the head again. And her shoulders, just like the last one, are slanted, but they're slanted in a different direction. And I notice one arm is reaching up towards the sky, so I'm going to draw her arm and the other part of her arm, which is like her elbow. And then her other arm is pretty out straight. And her torso is slanted. So I'm going to draw her torso slanted like that. And her leg is sticking straight up in the air like an awesome ballerina. So I'm going to go ahead and draw her leg up like that. And her other leg is pointed towards the ground. So now I have all of my my torso, my head, the shoulders, and the arms. So do you remember the next step? The next step is to draw my circles around it to make the body look nice and full. So there I go. I'm starting to draw my ovals around the arms that I created. So now if I wanted to go in and add details, I can even start to add my ballerina tutu here if I wanted to show that. And then maybe I go back in and erase some of these lines if I want to make it look like a finished drawing. You can choose to do that, but you don't have to. So now I'm thinking just about the process of drawing and getting that gesture of the person I'm trying to draw. Now this is a skill that artists of all ages use. Artists who are just starting out are using it, and professional artists are using it too. They use this as kind of like a reference if they need to draw something later on. Like let's say down the line, I learn a new technique and I am like, oh, I really want to draw a dancer for this, or I really want to draw a soccer player, or I really want to draw a different person doing a different action or a different gesture. Then I can come back to this paper and study this and take a look and use that as a reference. So now you can go ahead and I'm going to insert some pictures of different gestures that we are going to practice together as well.